welcome to the Policy Times. Ankita, your host, is back with yet another very interesting show at the evening. And today we are going to speak about redefining womanhood with Mahabharati. Yes, I'm very sure you will be having a lot of curiosity as to why we are saying it to be as redefining womanhood with Mahabharati. It certainly does click in your mind, and that's the reason why we are here today. And today we have with us Shruti Hajirnas Gupte, who is the author of this humongous, the book which got humongous response. This awesome book that is Mahabharati. Shruti is a chartered accountant by profession and currently pursuing career in the corporate. Her debut novel is featured in the top 100 debut novel list. She also writes the blogs on Medium and Women's Web. She's a disciple of Bharatnatyam exponent guru Sucheta Chapekar, a classical dancer at passion, and she's a true lover of literature and a connoisseur of French and Sanskrit. And this book has been published by the Pirates Publishing House. And Pirates is a book publishing house in India which was started by two IITians in Delhi, and it has number of bestsellers to their credit. Pirates has grown rapidly in the publishing industry. It has branched out into collaborative publishing, which has added a lot of volume to its existing title list. Pirates has done a series of classics under Pirates Enhanced Editions banner. Paradox is a pirate's imprint which deals in spiritual and related non-fiction works. They wish to continue to operate in a niche segment, focusing on quality and class. And yes, we are here at a very auspicious day. That is, we are celebrating the first anniversary of Mahabharati, the book, five women who held court before the war. And this day would be the best day that we thought we could talk about Mahabharati and congratulating the author on the first anniversary of the book. And we would love to know more about it. I personally am very interested to know about this aspect of Mahabharat. Thank you so much, Shruti, for joining with us today. And congratulations and best wishes to you. And we wish you all the best for the book and more such anniversaries to celebrate. So, today we would be speaking about, you can understand that we all have this curiosity in our mind to as to what is all about Mahabharati. So to begin with, I will just start off, which is absolutely the question which is popping in my head. That is, why did you choose to call your book as Mahabharati? We always get to hear Mahabharat, maybe in different aspects, but it gives a male perspective of the Mahabharat that we get. And Mahabharati itself gives you a very hinge and a very taste of that women perspective that we will be hearing. I will be thrilled to know more about it. Over to you, Shruti. Please tell us about it.
Thank you, Ankita. The, the word Bharati in Sanskrit means a knowledgeable woman, Indian woman. And I chose to call my five protagonists as Mahabharati because I believe that they are the epitome of womanhood. And therefore, Mahabharati. Of Mahabharat, five women of Mahabharat who who could be called as the epitome of womanhood, and therefore Mahabharati. It's not, let me just clarify you that it's not complete retelling of Mahabharata, but it's a feministic take on Mahabharata. It's a story about five women who are exemplary in nature, and therefore I chose to call them as Mahabharati.
That's amazing. That's what, which was very much intriguing for us, and I'm sure it's for the viewers. The feministic touch that you are saying, that it will be giving us some little minute details about the protagonists who are the women. And we will be hearing more about it from you. But, Mahabharat also, even if we are talking about the female feministic aspect of it, it has a war backdrop, right? Because your name, the subtitle also goes as the five women who held court before the war. Why, you had war in your mind to choose as the backdrop of your author? I mean, of your the book that you as the author came in your mind.
Ankita, you rightly said that Mahabharata is a story of war, because in Mahabharata, out of total 18 chapters, 5 chapters are dedicated to elaborate description of war, and this war is fought by men. And but when I decided to write about 5 women, actually bringing 5 powerful women in a single frame is a challenge. And for that you need very solid background. Okay, and therefore when I had that thought in my mind, I uh, I thought that if I want to bring them together, I need to have a solid frame. And if you need any guidance, we always go back to the roots. And then I decided that Maharshi Vyas, the word Vyas itself means a compiler. Okay, so who could better guide me than Maharshi Vyas to bring together 5 women at one platform? And with this thought in mind, I started reading the more and more the work of Maharshi Vyasa, and we are coming. I realized that Mahabharata is a story of war, and also so is the case with the other literature of Mahabharata. We are coming very close to Navratri festival, in which we read Saptashati. Saptashati is also described, which is part of Markandeya Puran, is described as Yuddhasya Varta Ramya. So there is one common thread in Maharshi Vyasa's work, that this uh, great sage reveals his philosophical thoughts on the background of dreadful event like Mahabharat. And therefore, what could be a better event than this to initiate the discussion between 5 powerful women of Mahabharata? And with this thought, I chose to have war as a perfect background to discuss the questions that are very relevant to our times.
Amazing. I think the thought process that you're sharing with us, it's absolutely amazing and very different, because we haven't really come across much of this, of how we can understand that with a major event happening, that is, a war is a huge thing, right? There are so many people involved in it, such serious conditions, and especially at that period of time, Mahabharat is like the huge war that we are speaking about. In that scenario, how women played a role, is that what you took up? And that gives so much emphasis on the women who do not get much of the limelight. That is what you wanted to focus, right?
Yes, because although 5 chapters are dedicated in Mahabharata, although 5 chapters are dedicated to description of war, which is fought by men, what comes next is Sauptika Parva. Is Stree Parva. After Sauptika Parva, it comes Stree Parva, which is a chapter of a book of women. And therefore, a question came to my mind: what if these women meet before the war? What could happen? And with this and question to these answers to this question came like a pieces of jigsaw puzzle, which I just placed together to form my story. And at the end, I really felt like I have found a new chapter of Mahabharata, that a discussion between 5 women, which could really change the perspective towards war.
Amazing. It will be an inspiration as well. I think we'll be getting to know more about it. But to talk about publishing, that how do you think a role of publisher is in shaping of a story, like the contributions, the complete journey in the story aspect of the publisher? If you could just give us an idea of it.
Yes, I think a publisher plays a major role. Let me share with you my personal story. Mahabharati is my journey of total 6 years. Okay, because I was writing and writing and writing about it, and until the time, because every time I used to write, I used to feel that it's incomplete. And that's what exactly happens with most of the authors. And writing in solitude will not help you. You need to share your thoughts. You need to share with someone who can really help you, guide you, and take your thoughts ahead. That's what exactly happened with me. And I'm sure if I take next book, I just expect that it will take at the most half of the time that I took to write this first book, jokingly. But the it, I may when honestly I started sharing my work very late with publishers, but fortunately I got positive feedback from all of them. And I used to do because then towards the end, when I realized that I need to share my work with someone, I did very novel thing. I used to take excerpts of my writing, and as I used to commute between office and home, I used to give my experts to read to my co-passengers in train. And then these feedbacks and feedbacks of publishers and all these things were so amazing. And I think this pirate publisher was the last one to connect. And I think then I decided, yes, I want to go with this publisher. The story is very I have a personal story to share with you, how I met my publisher. Actually, I haven't met my publisher in person in these 3 years. Now, today we are completing 3 years of journey together, but we have never met in person, and yet we have beautiful relationship. That's the beauty of this digital world. And when first time my publisher called me, Mukund Sangi, actually I had delivered a baby. My son was just 3 months old, and therefore child was my only word. I was not even thinking of any other thing. My writing was obviously on backseat for me. And I got missed call twice, thrice, and I did not even bother to look at it. And but when I decided that okay, I should at least talk with the person who is calling me. I start with that intention. I called, and I was completely fascinated with his idea of storyboarding. And it took me almost 1.5 years to work on the feedback that I got from this storyboarding exercise. And I think writing is a journey in solitude, but you only get a strong companion in your journey when you meet your publisher. I used to always call my publisher to just I can jokingly call it as update call. While I used to commute between office and work, my office is just 10 minutes away. When I used to walk on roads, I used to give him call, and I used to discuss what changes I'm making. And every time I used to call him, while discussing him on call, I used to get idea. Okay, okay, I need to at the back of my mind, I used always have this. Okay, okay, I need to change this. Okay, okay, I should delete this. Oh, I could add this much as well. And that was so intriguing, and that's a wonderful journey, I believe.
That's amazing. The only thing that is coming, that the slow and steady is just winning the race. You said you took 6 years, but the such a wonderful thing that came out of the 6 years, and the last years you met your publishers and you were extremely happy about it. um that is really amazing. Like, जल्दबाजी में अगर कहीं पे कुछ छूट जाता, it's better that you took time, you got so much of inputs, and you have this so wonderful book. And like you were saying, that writing is a thing of solitude. The authors often write, like to write in solitude. But also I feel, like you said, the sharing of drafts to know the opinion, because you are writing for people, right? For people to read. You want the story to be reached out to people. So it is also, I think, very nice thing to share your opinion and thoughts, that there will be diverse people in the society who can give you perspective, ideas, and everything, which helps you, I think. That is the path that you took, and
Absolutely
you
correct.
just go away. Because you might be thinking, or whoever is writing might be thinking, what I'm writing sounds very good, but we need that feedback to go ahead. to understand that if we are placing these thoughts in a proper manner, or it is jumbled, or some new ideas, a new angle to put up. So that also gives a very nice look and a nice look and feel at the end what it comes to. And that is, viewers can see us, that's the story for Shruti, that it has happened, how feedbacks, and through a long period of time she took in all the tits and bits, and she all got all these things uh, together in one draft, and finally we have this book which is running 1 year successfully. So on that note, I would also talk about the cover. It has a very interesting cover with a very nice bluish color. If you can just show it to our viewers once, such a nice blue thing. Please tell us more about the cover, the story, how you came up with the idea, who helped you with, and how publishers and their designers have been, the drafts and everything. Tell us all about it, we'll be very interested to hear.
Yeah, it's interesting because I personally, when we started our discussion around cover page of the book, uh, we thought about different things because it has backdrop of war. We thought about having a war picture and all, and then I came across this painting. This is actually painting done by Sonia Kumar, and I I was very impressed. Personally, I was very impressed with this painting because if you ask me what is one liner, like we used to ask kids in what is moral of the story. So if you ask me what is moral of story of Mahabharat, it's a action results principle which is laid down in Bhagavad Gita, and this one painting talks about this principle very beautifully. It gives us the entire flow of events that happen after the main event following the disrobing of Draupadi, and how her one decision of leaving her hairs untied has resulted into the war which is fought by men. I have described this in my writing, in my story. Why did Draupadi untie her hair? This may look like very simple act, but it has very deep meaning into it. You would read that meaning into this book. But this beautiful picture describes that action and result principle very beautifully. And then when I and when we were discussing, after I looked into this picture, I asked my publisher, can we have something like this? And he asked me, why do you want? And I told him about this idea of what this picture reveals to me, and he said it's a beautiful thought that you have, and then why like this, why don't this? I said it's a painting, right? So he said, okay, we can get in touch with the painter and can have rights of this beautiful painting. And Sonia Kumar thankfully agreed to this, and she gave us beautiful cover page.
Absolutely amazing. And the color is very, very, very beautiful. And the things that you were saying, that untied hair of a woman and all the events in the back of her head, I think gives a very nice pictorial view and understanding. And like you said, the moral of the story, and a person will understand that kind of what is there, what is the book speaking all about, is there in the story. That's an amazing cover, that I must say. And yeah, so we are talking about women. That is your protagonist, the five women. At the age of Mahabharat, even, and now we can talk about what is the status of women here, the ill happenings that is going on, the mishaps that is going on, the status of women. I would like to know how you have portrayed the status of women in the age of Mahabharat and versus today. What is the drastic change you feel that maybe has even portrayed in your book? A thought on that. How is this shift, or is there anything similar, or is there a very drastic shift? How is this?
I think, Ankita, I would say that in one line, I would say nothing has changed. these five women, the five protagonists that I have chosen as main protagonist of my book are Satyavati, Draupadi, Kunti, Gandhari, Rukmini, and Satyavati. So these five women, I believe that they are beautiful murals painted originally by Maharishi Vyasa, and thousands of years are passed since they are created. But they are so dynamic that every time we look into them, they stand relevant to our times. And therefore, if we even look at them with modern perspective, they give us modern perspective. And but I would say that the problems, the emotional turmoils that these women have faced, nothing has changed. Even today, we as a women face the similar kind of problems. The context of problem would have changed, but the problems, we are still facing problems, right? And so in that era, these five women have fought with this problem in to find out their best possible solution. And therefore we can, when we as a contemporary women look at them, they could stand out for us like a lighthouse erected in the great sea of time. And so for example, so, e- even today, a widow mother fights for her rights, and her children's right. We see that examples in society, and therefore the motherhood of Kunti is exemplary in nature because she fought that battle on her own and single-handedly raised her five sons together to win this Kurukshetra war. When we as a women are always taught that our ambition comes last, and we should make sacrifice to our ambition because ambition is a male attribute. But Satyavati, who is a fisher girl, it, with her ambition, she became a queen of Kuru dynasty, and with her decision making, with her ambition, she changed the entire course of Mahabharat. She directed the course of great Kuru dynasty. That's her power. We are always even today, woman is humiliated in the hands of male. Even now, even in today's time, we hear about rape cases and all these injustice caused to women. And I think nothing has changed since Draupadi's time. Draupadi also faced the same thing. But I must say that she is the first woman victim who fought for her case on her own. When she is brought into royal assembly of Kuru, she questioned the validity of her stake. She challenged the acts of her own husband. She put into question the chivalry of Bhishma, the morality of Dronacharya, and nobility of Dhritarashtra. In that era where you women's equality is even not even in a question because her own existence is decreed to men. In that woman, a woman fighting for her own right is really really inspiring. And therefore although nothing has changed since that time, we can look at these women of Mahabharat as exemplary, and we can learn a lot from them because in, at this time, deciding not to suffer and to have a individual thought, having that individualism in their thoughts and actions, it's itself very inspiring.
That is something, I think the message from where the what I could derive is women were and are unstoppable. I'm sure you'll agree with that. The way you said that even in that dynasty, in that period, which was a long time back, they did not stop. They took the hold. Correct me if I'm wrong. They took the hold, and you said it changed the entire, the course of the whole story, the whole events, the flow of events. They did not stop. Like you said, we do not have much change as of now. So the message that we are getting is women can do that. And we are getting this inspiration from these characters of the saga that you have also been writing in details, I'm sure, that is inspiring women that they can take things in their hand and change the course of something, the flow of the events. But to add to, it's actually my curiosity to know, uh, like you said, people, the women at that period of time and now, it hasn't changed enough. Is there any specific thing that you think, has changed, or anything, any point of thing, or any event that we
I,
can relate to that period and now? We can
I,
just compare
I
both.
said that nothing has changed in terms of the struggle or emotional turmoil, but I said that context has changed over these thousands of years. So we still see same problems faced in the today's society, but if we have to find the solution to that, we can find inspiration from these women of Mahabharata. Because their actions, because I must say that Maharishi Vyasa has very thoughtfully built around those characters. Sometimes a character like Kunti is silent at some time, but even with silence, her silence is more has more strength than speaking the words. So he has beautifully given us what we could do as a women, and has laid a path of women empowerment.
Exactly, and it is very inspiring for now. That is, you're saying it will be, people going through this book will understand that how, like you said, the silence of Kunti, you said, had some kind of a very nice significance, right? So people now can take some of the references and get inspired from there, and women on top it, or like we said, the context will have be perhaps changed, but the situation has been always same. The struggle, the emotional, the turmoil and everything has been always the same, right? So based on that, how did you visualize this story? How things came in your mind, you visualize that you will be taking up these protagonists and these five women, and you will be putting it in your book. What was the visualization that going on in your mind?
So I am the one who always visualize, because I'm a classical dancer. So this writing of this story started with a very concept of having a Bharatnatyam choreography on five women of Mahabharat. And therefore when I completed my book, I also shared my idea of bringing this into a classical dance production. The production is itself called as Mahabharati. Five of my colleagues have beautifully performed this production, and the whole theme of my book is revealed through this Bharatnatyam choreography called Mahabharati. So when I was writing, I could actually visualize those characters on stage, and that led me to write down their actions. So being a classical dancer, I think those actions were actually being visualized by me while writing.
Wow. So this book, you say, has been also as a dance production, Bharatnatyam production, that you have visualized it, and that helped you a lot, having this classical dance background. Could we have a look at it? Yeah. Wow. That is amazing. I believe they are the five protagonists that we were speaking about.
So at the right hand side, it's Gandhari. Then the one who is wearing white sari is Kunti. The one who is in between with blue color sari is Rukmini. The one with red color sari is Draupadi, and the one with green color sari is Satyavati. And we had a thought in choosing the colors for these protagonists, the attire for choosing attire for these protagonists as well.
Wow. That has been really amazing. I
So
can
the,
understand.
the
Yeah.
color which we have used actually signifies one element. So in my book, I have actually linked five protagonists to five elements of nature. So for me, Draupadi is obviously represent element of fire with her passions and vengeance. Rukmini personifies the space with enormity of her character. Gandhari personifies represent the element of air with lucidity of her with elusiveness of her thoughts and actions, and Satyavati as water principle, water element with lucidity of her thoughts and action, and Kunti to earth element with her nurturing nature. So these elements are being represented in a color of attire of each protagonist.
Such a beautiful depiction, I must say. The way you have gave the color, chosen the color, which was absolutely relevant with their minds and their characters, I think gave us a very nice look. I wish I could have seen this complete production. It would be very nice, I think. Yeah. So we can see the screen here. What is this? I mean, while you were, what has been the journey of this production? What has been the
I think the journey goes back to my roots. Uh, I am born and brought up in Dhule, which is very small district, and reading has been a culture in the family. And when I was in primary school, I read a novel like Krishna Kinara, which has very deep philosophical thoughts. And these reading, these philosophical reading made deep impact in my mind. And I remember in my bungalow, everything I had around was books, in the cupboards, books in the showcase, books on the racks, everywhere it was book. I remember when we shifted from Dhule to Pune, my grandfather chose to donate all these books to one of his students, to start a library in a small village. And in the same year, with that donated book, that library got best library award. So imagine the volume of books that
wow.
we had in our house. Then the second phase came. I shifted to Pune. It's a city of culture, and I'm very lucky to be a disciple of Guru Sucheta Sapekar. So she's Bharatnatyam exponent, internationally known Bharatnatyam exponent, and at that young age, I was amazingly fascinated with her ideas, her creativity, her innovative thoughts, and then the second thing was, I was very fortunate to be in a school where teacher actually had awakened a writer inside me. They encouraged me to express more and more through writing, through talks and all these things. And thirdly, in my house, I had my specifically my grandfather and my mother took efforts to nurture an artist within me. So with these three things together running parallelly in my life, one day I saw a Bharatanatyam program, classical dance concert of my guru, and it was very innovative thought. And then that time, I remember I would be in ninth standard or so. I questioned myself that if as an artist you want to explore something, what that could be. And answer came to me, women of mythology. And somehow that answer, that thought is with me after so many years. So I believe that that's where this journey of Mahabharati started. Then third phase came in my life. I decided to pursue uh, chartered accountancy as a profession. But before starting that, in a month between my writing my entrance exam of CA and starting with my articleship, I performed my Arangetram. The theme of my Arangetram was Pancharati. It was the theme itself means the offering by five in five different way to five deities. And I think that was the somewhere the laid me a thought of having five women of Mahabharata together, because that had a principle of five. And with that thought, I After my perform after performing my Arangitram, I had thought that I'll bring alive those five characters on stage, but my life took fast train. I never got time to work on it. I cleared chartered accountancy in first attempt. Then I took a job with Big Four because I was ambitious professional as well. Then met my soulmate and shifted to Mumbai. But even though even life was at fast pace, I felt like something is missing. I'm missing some important train of my life, because I, as an artist, without having art in my life, started feeling like a fish without water. Then I decided that why not to turn this journey, this routine journey between office and house, as a journey of passion. And then I started writing between during commutation time between office and home. And that's how I written and rewritten the character analysis of five women. It was, I think it had reached over 75,000 words, that also written and rewritten for so many times. And then when once I started sharing this work with others, I got important feedback that I must write a story about it. Then I gave a thought about having the story, and when this story come to me, I was already a mother of son. And after having this thought, after 6 years, this Mahabharati came,
Into
was
being.
officially published.
That's a huge and a very inspiring journey. And just interrupting in between, before we go to the next question, how do you manage writing? Last days, how did you manage writing with your profession? That is very, I'm sure you have a hectic schedule. You're a chartered accountant by profession, and with managing your household, your life, everything, being an artist, like you said, you did not want to sit and just let go of that important thing in your life. For that reason, you took up it again and utilized this time. How did you manage writing? You every day schedule, did you write it little by little, or how did you manage writing in between this?
So as I said, I used to in when I used to stay at a place which was so before maternity, I used to travel every day between office to home. It was 1.5 year journey each way. So I used to write. I used to gather my thoughts during that journey and write it down. And then after that, when I after maternity, when I rejoined my office, I shifted to a place very close to office. So by that way, I saved on my commutation time. So that, but even that 10 minutes time of walking between office and home, I used to call my publisher, because that time we had already made, we were doing exercise of this storyboarding, and I used to use that time to call my publisher and give him update. And then while giving him update, as I said, at the back of my mind, I used to get the thoughts used to initiate that I need to do this and that. And then even now, I what I do is I plan my day. And after once I put my kid to sleep, I take time to write. So what I do is I write for a long time during night, and then I meditate a little, so that this time that I have spent on writing is get. Meditation actually reduces your need for sleep. So I use that trick to spend more time on writing and manage the whole things during the day.
Wow, that's really inspiring. There will be lot, working professionals who are always interested to write, but they somehow do not get the time or that motivation to write because of such huge rat race and everything, day to day mundane lives, traveling. But you really will be inspiring a lot of such authors who have ideas in their mind while traveling in a metro or a bus or a train, but they cannot write. They just have the idea. I think it's a push and a huge shout out to all those people who are think having such stories in their mind, they should go up and just utilize their little bit of time, maybe writing in their phone while they are traveling. And they never know, they can come up with such huge histories and huge stories, because traveling, I personally feels, gives you so many people around you. You can see them. And क्या पता कि आपके जो बुक के 5 प्रोटैगनिस्ट है, जो कैरेक्टर्स आपके ट्रेन या जहां भी आप ट्रैवल कर रहे थे, उन सब महिलाओं में वो एक कैरेक्टर शायद बसते हैं.
Yes,
And that will be so relevant to your topic, that they all are, suppose some are Kunti, some are Gandhari, and some are Satyavati in their own lives. That what again gives you such a huge match to your writing, right?
yes,
So absolutely. So everything, every person, even a male figure in a bus, has a story so much, and anybody can get inspired or maybe build up a story in their mind, right? And yes, women, they are traveling with all, like you. There are so many people who are juggling all of these in their hand and having that dream to write a book. Yes, so
so
we can see
I
that.
I I would like to share that I write in bits and pieces. But if you see that Mahabharati is not complete retelling of Mahabharat, but if you would read complete book, it has many small stories woven right from the entry of Satyavati into Kuru dynasty and until the end of war. So these small stories are woven somewhere. In a whole story of 5 women who held war before war. And as you rightly said, that I found my Gandhari, my Kunti, my Rukmini, my Draupadi all around me, and they they gave their feedback, their actions, their thoughts, their emotions have flown into this book.
That's what is a success, your real life Kunti and Gandhari giving you some feedback for you to have a push and to put in the insights, where you said your publishers, the Pyrus publishers, played a huge role in complete storylining and everything, how you have been discussing the stories and getting up ideas. I think that's a very nice journey together, and a very nice cooperation between the author and the publisher. So as an author, how do you think, talking of a book, so after the writing that you came up, now it is the time you need to put this book in front of public, in front of viewers. People should start understanding your book. They should be interested in your book. The theme should be intriguing. How did you start, some small baby steps that you gave in for the promotion of the book? How did you launch, and what led this whole year, how it was for you, for reaching out to people, to bookstores, to e-commerce sites, to the promotion of the whole thing, and how author plays a part in this? How was this journey of promotion for you as an author?
So I won't say. I would say it's a journey of connecting with readers and connecting with minds. Okay, so because I exactly a year back, I had my book launch program in Pune, and Leela Punawala and Sucheta Tai, they both thankfully graced the occasion. And what could be more fortunate than a person like Leela Punawala launching the book on which has feministic take on Mahabharat, because she herself is exemplary woman in Indian corporate, and she also helps other women to in their path of empowerment. She gives scholarships called Leela Punawala to many young girls. So it was very fortunate to have her and to have this book launched by her, and also Sucheta Rai, because she has been motivation, because had looking at her performance, I got inspired that you should also innovate something. So she has always been an inspiring person throughout my life. So I'm very fortunate to have both of them as part of my book launch program. And we also had this Bharatnatyam choreography. And since then, I think connecting with readers has has been an amazing experience, because when you write with certain thoughts, but once you write and you give your book to readers, it's no more your book, it's their book. Yeah, and your story becomes their story, because everyone has their own perspective to look at the story, to read, and at what phase of their life they are, they will correlate the story to them. And I think that they can, at any phase of life they are, they can deeply correlate with the story of Mahabharati. And so I got very amazing feedbacks, and sometimes it's so innovative, that sometimes I used to feel like, oh wow, they are reading this story with this perspective. It's amazing. And I'm very fortunate that uh, uh, my a very senior person who has been a friend to my grandfather, he read my book and he gave his review comments. And I was astonished to see that he read the book exactly with the same perspective with which I wrote a book. It was so amazing to see those review comments. I'm very thankful about that. And then I got opportunities, as I said, that when you write something, you get, it's your opportunity to connect with people, to connect with readers, and most importantly to connect with different minds. And therefore I got speakers, a few speakership opportunities at uh, educational institutes as well, and it was very great experience to connect with students and all. I here I would like to share with you one of my experience, that as I said, we had this Bharatanatyam choreography, and we got opportunity to perform this Bharatanatyam choreography in a seminar that was called Finding Mothers, which was organized by Saint Xavier College, and the program was graced by Ratna Pathak Shah and Vidya Balan. And it was so amazing to get their feedback on this production, and the way they encourage our production, it was amazing. It was really an encouragement for me.
Wow. That means it says that how the forms of art, whether it is right, that you have been writing to it, and with the visual perspective, the dance, how it touches minds, how it touches hearts, and along with that, they could relate with the book. And the one sentence that I could catch, I mean, that was very catchy to me, is that everyone, once the author writes the story and it gets published and it is reaching to the people, it's no more the author's story, it's how the people take it in. That's the thing that really I like this thing, that I can relate that if I'm reading this book, I will be placing myself among these characters and trying to visualize and interpret according to myself. How you wrote it will have a different interpretation for others, for all the Kuntis and Gandharis in our society, and they will try to visualize themselves at that complete scenario, right? And it is now the liberty of the readers, like you said, for the complete interpretation, right? So once the author writes the story, they give the freedom to the reader to interpret according to themselves, to understand the whole story. But it will be very joyous occasion for you, like you said, if some lady or any reader has the same interpretation like you, and that I could see the joy in your face when you said that a very veteran person had read your book and you got the exact interpretation. So that is the joy of an author, I think, when you see interpretations, how a book has been interpreted by the reader, right? And how there are varied interpretation by varied readers. So that is the thing that I was thinking of. And lastly, we would like to know, which is the very important question, is what story is behind this whole thing. We got to know about the whole journey and everything, the story, exact thing, what pushed you. Like you said, you had a very nice childhood reading philosophical books, with lots and lots of books with the upbringing that you had, a very nice classical, you had an atmosphere to read more and more, you were intrigued with that. Any story that really pushed you to write that among all the genres you will be choosing such a genre for your book, and which is doing so nice, and which is a very nice thing for at this moment, the womanhood that you have been redefining with your book, the Mahabharati. We would like to know from you.
Yes, certainly. Although, as I said, although Mahabharata is written from male perspective, we always heard stories from male perspective. But when I read it, what the inspired me was Maharshi Vyasa himself put women amidst all the actions of and thoughts and everything. So we see that their lives is running parallelly to the events of Mahabharat, and at at some junction they have directed the course of Mahabharat, and I felt that at and very nicely, as I said, that Maharshi Vyasa has put Sri Parva at the towards the end of war. So what if these women voice get chance to be heard? And that was thought I had, and that thought led me this story of having five women who held court before the onset of war. So have giving a voice to women, feministic thought or thought of a woman is something that has always been inspiring to me.
And that's very unique, because talking of war, we always know it's men, right? Because but at the end, at the fort and at the family position, if we see, there are women who are also going through a war. That is a huge thing. The men of the family are out for years after years, like Kurukshetra. It has been for several years. And how they managed the whole thing at that time, that is what you pictured. I guess, which also needs to be portrayed. They had to be strong, they had to understand their position when the men are not at home, or what is happening at the court. And that, viewers, you can understand, that is why,
The war of Mahabharat lasts only for 18 days, but at these 18 days brought the end of the entire epoch. And if something is changing, if that's changing, if something is changing the epoch, how women are looking at such change, that's very important to me.
Exactly, that is what, and that's the line that goes with your the theme of the book, that is five women who held the court before the war, and how women also played a massive role in the court of these huge dynasties. That is what you portrayed on. And to with this, we got a huge understanding of, on the occasion of celebrating the 1 year anniversary of Mahabharati. And nothing could have been, no day would have been so special for Mahabharati and for Shruti, the author, to have discussed and to interpret and to understand. And for me as well, it was a privilege of mine to, interact with you, to understand on this auspicious day about the book. And absolutely very delighted, and wish you all the best for the book, so that it gets huge support. And I believe you get very nice readers who are reading, and you will get such interpretations, nice reviews from it. The one good news that we are going to reveal is that on this day, when we are celebrating the first year of anniversary of Mahabharati, Pirates has launched a program, that is a giveaway program, that Mahabharati copies will be distributed. So, any viewers who are up for it, who are interested, intrigued by the topic, let us know in the comments, or the link is there in our description, to know more about this giveaway program, so that you get the books and you understand and get an idea of what we were talking about this whole hour. And I'm sure you will be completely mesmerized, and you will visualize everything, just like Shruti said, she has been visualizing these stories in your head. And once you read, I think you will automatically, it will force you to visualize the things, and you can put yourself in that position and in that character to understand that, how you have also been such a huge characters in this era in our society now, and you will be redefining the womanhood with the help of Mahabharati, that you are doing wonderful even now, like the women were strong and unstoppable during the age of Mahabharata. With this, we would be coming to the end. Thank you so much, Shruti, for
Thank you,
sharing this
Ankita, for this
journey.
wonderful session. Thanks a lot. And thanks
Yes,
to
it
all
was.
who are part of this discussion.
Yes, and our viewers, I'm sure they're very intrigued by the topic and will be very interested to know about this giveaway program. And it was our privilege to have you at the show. And all the very best. And thank you so much again. And more such books, we could hear and listen to more such book of yours. And you have an amazing, amazing life ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
viewers, you keep watching the Policy Times.